All right, welcome to the Rockhound Podcast. Today we have Jesse with Rookie Rockhounding, and so go ahead and take us off, Jesse.
Hello, I'm Jesse from Rookie Rockhounding from Australia.
Right.
Karen.
Hey, mate. I'd like to take a moment to give a warm welcome to all of the folks tuning in, both our Rockhounding community friends, and then also a special warm welcome to if you're new to us. Thank you for joining us. And I'm Karen Britt from Ozone Fine Art Ventures in beautiful Oregon. And Kurt?
And my name is Kurt Westerman with Rock.Hounding.Adventures out in Western Colorado. And Kyle?
And I'm Kyle with World of Rockhounds from also here in Oregon. And that's our introductions. So how was everyone's week?
Really good. How about you, Jesse? How was your week, man?
It was a good week. It was just busy. I do vacation care, so we're in holiday time right now, and I'm taking around 20 children to different excursions, and it's a great job, but it's exhausting as well. But it's been a great week. Great week.
Nice. Wow.
That's awesome.
I can't imagine. Okay, so we watch your videos and we know how much fun fossicking is with Jesse. I can't imagine having you like, oh yay, it's like kid time with Jesse. That's gotta be fun.
Don't get me wrong. I made one of the excursions actually to this place out where we go fossicking, this little area. There's this beautiful natural bridge there, so I was like, okay, let's make the excursion bushwalking excursion there. And then afterwards we stopped at a park, and I was like, do you guys, the kids all know about the YouTube videos, they're like, you're a YouTuber and stuff. And they're like, can you show us some rocks? So I took them down to the creek. I was still able to manage to get some rock hounding in with the kids, which is rad, but I can't film it because kids.
Right, yeah.
So it was a good week still.
You're having the Rockhound infection, like reach out to the kids though, right?
yeah. So much fun.
Nice. Right on. Well, the sun's out on the Oregon coast, and so I'm wearing it like it's some of the first that we've been having. And so you know what happens to Oregon skin actually the first time, but it's been fabulous. And I was trying to do a man Lambo. I've got some concretions from the beach. And so I decided to wax them open and see if I can't dig in and find, I've got this idea that I'm going to find a crab treasure for sure. This one circular rock is actually going to have something in it. And I think one of my friends that's fairly good at identifying the fossils that are in the concretions told me that she was fairly confident it was poop.
That's a big old hunk of poopy.
After I'm digging around and doing all the precise little
licking it.
Tastes good.
It's a bit nutty.
Yeah, it had that Miocene era nuttiness to it. It was very nice. So that was me. How about you, Kurt?
Well, pretty much I just put out my new video of the hiking up to the mica mine, and I found a lot of really cool pieces of mica and some other cool pieces of feldspar, and thankfully some black tourmaline. And I'm actually going to try and return there this upcoming week. So hopefully I can find some more black tourmaline. And I'm currently working on trying to make a new intro for my channel for the videos, and that's taking way longer than I was expecting. So it's pretty much what I have going on. What about you, Kyle?
Trying to get some customer orders done. Trying is the key word. It's definitely there's a lot to do, but I am looking forward to when everything's done and I can focus on some other projects though, because I need a break. A small break, not a big break, a small break.
What's the customer order things? People will like send you things to polish and
I've been a little picky and choosy in what orders I take in, because I go based off what I currently have on my to-do list, and then I also look at what they want to have done, and I try to be fair to myself and to whatever customers whatever prospective customer is like reaching out.
Yeah.
So it depends on the order. I've gotten to the point where I'm very hesitant on taking on Obsidian orders because they take so long to do. Go ahead.
Do you get, sorry, interrupting bad.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Does it, do you get scared with, like, if someone gave me a rock to polish, I'd be like, oh man, okay. There's 50-50 chance this is coming back this small and like, you know what I mean? Or broken.
The only times I've really been really hesitant on the customer pieces was there's been a couple times. The first time, of course, is the Obsidian Slabs that I did, and one broke. That one was gut-wrenching, but luckily the customer is super chill about it, and everything still turned out amazing. And the other one is actually a friend of mine. I was working on petrified wood knife handles for him, and he supplied the stone, and so I got everything slabbed up. Everything was almost done, and it broke. Both handles broke. And so I've been putting it off since before our daughter was born, because I was trying to get all my products done before she came, and that way I didn't have to think about projects. I can focus on her being here at the house. And then I think it was like a week or two before she got here, it broke, and I set it aside, and I've since slabbed like new pieces. But it's on my list of things to get done.
Well, mega credit to you, man. Yeah, doing other people's work, that's rad.
It is satisfying to see the completed projects. It's just I've gotten to the point where I just try to be respectful when I do decline an order, and I'd even try to recommend other people that they can try to reach out to and see if they can do it.
Yeah, cool.
But who's next?
Well,
I
think you're the last one, man.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
My brain's just like still.
No, sorry. That's could be my effect.
No. It's been a super long week, and just trying to allow my brain to kind of cool down, and it's not happening yet. But I'll get there.
Yeah. Well, Jamie, do you ever do customer jobs or anything of the sort?
That's a good question.
I had no, but the closest thing I had was one of the children from the primary school, like the I think you guys call it grade school, the first school, primary school. Yeah.
Okay.
There was a kid there who had seen the videos, and I worked there as well. So he gave me this rock, this piece of I don't even know what it would have been. It's like a quartz sort of jaspery mix sort of thing, and he asked if I could cut it open, and I'm like, heck yeah, this will be sweet. But I was moving house, so I had everything packed away and didn't even think about it. And this poor kid, I made this poor kid wait for like 3 weeks. So I just gave him like handfuls of tumbled rocks, and I'm like, it's coming next week, buddy, but have this. Or, here's a thunder egg. Giving these kids all these rocks, because I have too many of them there anyway. But he was happy with it in the end, and the rock was really pretty on the inside. I didn't think it would be, so I'm like, oh, maybe a different one, but it was pretty, yeah. And he liked it.
That's all that matters.
This is why I don't do things for other people, not because I'm selfish, but because I will disappoint. Really much.
Also, Jesse, I accidentally called you Jamie by accident. My dyslexia got me, so I apologize about that, bro.
That's all good, man. It's close enough, really.
You already have a nickname, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Love, you know?
Yeah.
Oh
no, it's doing it again.
But yeah, for doing stuff for other people, like
man.
it's not so much as like for me, it's not forgetting. It's just having time.
Yeah.
And if I was doing if I could afford to do the rock stuff full time, I totally would. It's working on rocks. I don't know if it's the same thing for all of you, but for me, it's very therapeutic. You can just turn on music, and that's all you're doing. You're not thinking about anything else except for what you're doing. And if I could do rocks full time, I totally would. But financially, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah,
it's a hobby.
I like to listen to podcasts. So if you do work on rocks, you could listen to this podcast.
Yeah,
Exactly.
See, just trying to sell it for you guys.
Right.
It's all right.
Just binge
Appreciate
watch.
it.
Yeah.
well, then there's the question, like if Kurt, Karen, and myself are listening to our own podcast, are we kind of full of ourselves at that point?
No, more for anyone else watching.
Okay. There's been times where like every Friday when we're doing like live chat with everyone that's watching the premiere, it throws me off every single time because I'm sitting there and I'm listening, and whoever's talking will say my name, and I'm thinking that someone's actually asking me a question like right there, and I go, oh wait, I forgot, this is already pre-recorded. No one's actually asked me a question. It throws me off quite a bit.
Yeah,
I hear you.
Have you, I mean, obviously we all do the videos, and this goes for the entire community listening. Do you ever trip out on the way that you sound?
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kurt?
Yeah. Oh geez, yeah. Like a lot of times when I'm listening to myself talk, I'm like, I really need to get better at pronouncing words more clearly. And because I'm like, what did I say? What was that?
Let me know how you figure that out so I can use that same.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
Yeah. It happens every single video that I put out, and I don't catch it while I'm editing. I catch it after I publish it, and then it's like, oh, I could have like snipped that part out or something. But yeah, what about y'all?
I find with my when I do voiceovers, the main reason why I do voiceovers is because I've completely stuffed what I was saying in the live filming thing. And then when I do voiceovers and I'm re-editing it later and going back over it, I'm like, man, I sounded like I was just down then or just not happy at all. So I'll have to go back.
Oh
and
yeah.
Be like, that sort of thing.
I know what you mean.
Because it can bring the mood down. And it's something you might just gotten home from work and you're exhausted and doing a voiceover, and it can come through your voice, sort of thing. So you gotta, that's what I have to watch anyway.
No, you're actually pretty on point with that, because I was watching I've brought up Adam Savage several times in previous podcasts, but he has his own YouTube channel, and he's talking about how like on when they're filming Mythbusters, like a lot of the TV persona that was on there wasn't necessarily their own personas, and they're like overhyped, or I wouldn't say overhyped, but like they weren't the same personalities.
They were aware of themselves, I guess, as well, and how they come off as. So,
and so I think the way I forgot how he put it, but like for his channel, the way he does is he his normal personality, and he goes up by like 7%. That way he's not overdoing it, but he's also not being like bland, I guess.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That reminds me too, because I've had other people sort of say similar things about you always get so excited, but you're finding the same thing. And I'm like, when I'm out rock hounding, I'm in kid mode, like absolute kid mode, and I can find a rock that is 10 times worse than my best rock, and it depends on that day. If that's the best rock I found that day so far, I'm like cheering like it's the best thing ever, and it's genuine joy sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
And you worry,
across.
You worry. You don't want people to think you're banging that on. It's a genuine nerdness.
Yeah. Every single time I'm watching your videos, I'm always like, I always catch myself smiling or laughing. Like,
oh, that's cool, man.
You bring so much joy into your videos. It's just it's awesome.
No, thank you very much, man. Humbling. I don't do good with compliments. I'm like,
well, hunker down, because
here we go.
Hunker down. Here we go.
Here we go.
No, but having like positive reactions or positive reinforcement, even on YouTube, like that can really go a long ways. Smiling, having a more positive tone in your voice, it can be contagious, and it'll bring people in, and it'll keep them in.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really bad about it, to be honest. I mean, comparing when I first started to now, like I didn't smile near as much when I first started. Like I was very, I wouldn't say monotone, but I was pretty close to it. And I didn't really have my own, like I didn't have my personality out because I wasn't comfortable in front of the camera. And I think, the more that anyone really records, the more comfortable they get with the camera, and the more they can
Absolutely.
actually show the personality, the more they smile, and people can see that, and it makes
It's
a huge difference.
I think one of the biggest draw cards for some channels is I know with some videos I like to watch, not even rockhounding ones, but other YouTubers, it feels like I'm hanging out with the person. I love that person's personality, and especially when it's a genuine one as well, and you can see the genuine personality of that person. You're like, well, I'm spending 10 minutes with this person. It almost doesn't matter what they're doing. You know what I mean? So personality is personality, and it's not that there's a key personality, it's your personality is the key personality. You know what I mean? Because when you're doing something you love doing, your personality goes poof, like this. And it takes a little while to not be nervous. I mean, it takes a long time to not be nervous in front of it and stuff like that. But you find your way, and you almost feel when you're like, okay, I'm being myself completely. This is rad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can completely agree with that. When I was earlier today, when I was taking little clips out of my old videos to make my intro, I was like, man, I look so uncomfortable there.
Oh man, my first video makes me cringe every time, but it's good to look back at. I'm like, okay, I've done all right.
Well, that's a good thing to point out too for anyone that decides to start a channel. Like, even if you are uncomfortable from the camera and you're not posting like the best content, post it anyway. And it allows you to reflect and go back and be like, this is where I can do better. But also it shows people that join in, and they can see like the timeline of you getting more comfortable. And as your channel, anyone's channels grow, like you can start with, I mean, Mr. Beast, he started with a iPhone. And no tripod, just in his room doing weird stuff, or random stuff, random weird stuff. And look where he's at today. He has his own team of like cameramen and soundmen, and like, you never know. You just never know.
You don't. You never know, and it's I think it's if you're passionate about it, regardless of how fast it grows or anything like that, it's a marathon. It's a long game. It's not, one video might not be great, but there's always next video. So you just go, okay, cool, next video, and it will go for, I mean, I'm planning for this to go forever for me while I can still film, and regardless of if there's still only 20 people watching an old man going, Calcetany.
That's awesome. Like that whole kind of idea of just wanting to perpetuate the stoke of having a great time while you're rock hounding. My mom watches this, of course, and she's always so interested in the guests. And so one of the questions that she asks me that I'd love to ask you in return is like, what's your favorite video or the best video that you feel like you've made, so that viewers can kind of go to like, okay, well, Jesse recommends this one of his, or, is it the last one that you made is always a favorite? What do you think?
And I genuinely have a favorite video of mine, and there's a bit of story behind it, is because it's the I think it's called Only a Rockhound Knows the Feeling or something like that. I'll have to find out what it is, but it's Benny and I just went, all right, pot shot rockhounding. We knew the area had agates and stuff like that in it. We did this massive bushwalk. We're traipsing through all these different areas, and no rocks at all. And we're like, all right, well, let's go down to the creek and we'll just make our way back to the car. And this is like for 4 hours. And then we started finding rocks just as we realized that it's going to take us another 2 to 3 hours to get down this creek because the boulders are massive and stuff like that. But then through that, looking up was amazing, because as a rockhound you don't look up very often, sort of thing, because it's you're looking down.
Truth.
Yeah, it was sort of it's the type of video where there was every aspect of rockhounding in it, even like the, you know, getting skunked at the first bit, walking for ages, not finding anything, finding beautiful things, and then realizing time's running out and we've got to get back and not break a leg on these massive boulders. So, yeah, only a rockhound knows the feeling, I think, is what I've named it.
Yeah. So the link is going to be in the description, everybody. Mom.
Yeah.
Mom and fans, go check that one out of Jesse's.
Yeah, be
Good
sure to send me that
answer.
link so I can.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, I mean, even Kurt and Karen can edit it in too if they happen to get it before I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm taking too long to answer questions too, let me know. 'cause I'll waffle.
No, you are fine.
Okay.
And
You're good.
Cool.
I will apologize now. River's making some noise in the background, so I don't know if my mic's picking it up yet or not. I keep muting it because I'm like, I don't know if it's picking it up this time.
Nah.
Sounds good.
I haven't heard anything.
Okay, yeah, she's getting a little fussy right now.
Oh,
Dad life.
but I have a question for you, Jesse.
Yeah.
Whenever you've gone out rock hounding, have you ever run into any animals? And if so, what animals have you run into?
Oh, that's right.
So-
You're Australian. You got some
Yeah.
heavy hitters there.
And saying that as well, I'm like, oh, we've got snakes and stuff like that. But there's like cougars and mountain lions and bears and stuff like that, like big old scary animals. But I mean, for people in America and Canada and other parts of the world. But the main thing we look out for is snakes. So snakes are in wintertime, you can feel yourself physically less stressed when you're out rock hounding, because you know the snakes are away sleeping, well, hopefully. But then when summertime comes, it's snake time, and it's like you have to stomp your feet because the snakes feel the vibrations and they will hopefully not want to encounter you. But for the most part, we've run into a massive python, which was huge.
Ooh.
And not lethal or anything, but scary. It was probably about the size of two and a half lengths of me, sort of thing. Yeah, and then, but then there's other rad ones as well, like seeing a kangaroo just standing there on the edge of the creek, just going, and you're like, "Hey, buddy," and he's like, "No, go away." But, yeah. And then there's one more, which is the ones you don't see, the wild dogs. There's packs of wild dogs out here that stories I've heard are just intimidating and scary. Like they will hunt in a pack and they'll get one, just like the raptors in Jurassic Park. Like one will distract you going, "Hey, bud," and the other will just attack. I've not had it happen to me, but there was a video just recently where I was out by myself and I felt something else there. I could just hear it breathing.
I hate that feeling.
Yeah, and I was like, I kept recording because I'm like, I feel so alone and scared right now. At least I'm like, I feel like I'm talking to everyone else while I'm filming. I'm like, oh God. So that for the most part, it's snakes and cute furry animals.
Nice. I hate snakes as well. I recently had a issue with a snake. It was a little bitty tiny rattlesnake, but I was out messing with my rocks and saw this. I opened the garage door and saw this snake kind of come at me. So I looked at it. I thought it was a bull snake, which isn't a bad snake. So I reached down, picked it up, and threw it.
Oh God!
And yeah, I threw it like 3 feet, and then it kept coming back at me. And so I reached back down and threw it again. And when I threw it, it tried striking at me. It's like, wait a second. And I got closer, and then its tail was sitting there doing this, and it was spitting and striking at me. I was like, ooh, that's not a good snake.
Yeah, no. And you know
That's a
what?
worry
The baby
worm.
ones we learned over here are worse because they're like, they don't know how to control their venom. They're just everywhere.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Oh, dude.
We were walking a riverbed in near Paulina, Oregon, where you pick up some really nice limb casts, agatized limb casts. And I'm just, bebopping through. It's candy time. I'm finding good stuff. And my husband's behind me and he's like, Karen. And like, he didn't even have the words. He was like, turn around. And I had just walked past a baby rattler all wound up in the, just blending in with the little river pebbles. And I'm like in your favorite shoes, Kurt. Like I'm in like water sandals and, bare-legged. Bite me. So yeah, it's those snakes, you definitely need to watch out for those.
Yeah.
For sure. And cats.
Yeah.
Yes, cats too.
Especially shoulder
attacked.
cats.
Yes.
Gotta watch those shoulder cats.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's not meowing yet. Yeah, I'm not scared of snakes, critters. It's, I don't know. Maybe I'm broken.
No, that's good. Or brave.
Or stupid. Now, I think I've touched a little bit on this in a previous episode, but if I were to see a rattlesnake, like someone would have to stop me from trying to pick it up. Just
oh gosh,
because I know to if I do grab it, I have to grab it right behind its head where it can't get you, and and just know kind of get an estimate of like how long they are and know how far back you have to stand because they can strike out. But when I intentionally go rock hounding, I always have boots and Carhartt pants. And a friend of mine I went rock hounding with, and he had waders on. I didn't even bother. I just walked in the river as is. I'm like, I'll dry eventually. But I got to protect my feet and protect from getting bit and ticks and stuff like that. And I can't see myself ever rock hounding in shorts. So it's got to be long sleeve or long thick pants, boots.
I really need to do better with that, especially doing videos so that people can see as an example. Like we need to get these, I forget what they're called, but they're like snake guards for your legs. And they just sort of go around your calf so that, because majority of the time it's from stepping on a snake that they'll bite you and it'll just be close to your calf sort of thing. But I really need to invest in some of them. Snake gators, that's it, yeah. Because there's a lot of luck involved in not getting bitten by a snake out in some of the places we all go.
They're professional at hiding, that's
we're
in their house. So it's so easy. That's what the deal was with that the baby, and it was trying to tell me, but it doesn't have any rattles yet. So
hey,
and you just had limb casts on your mind. You're like limb cast.
Yeah. I'm happy to be alive.
There is this time I was out rock hunting on a river out in New Mexico, and I was standing there trying to look at the river, figure out what I want, and for whatever reason I looked straight down from like an inch or two from my foot, and there was a massive water moccasin coiled up, sleeping like a couple inches from me, and it was probably about like a 6-7 foot snake, but like in I think those are or venomous, but I saw that and just slowly moved away. Scared the living out of me.
Snake charming.
Yeah.
Yes. So, do you have any questions, Kyle?
I didn't realize we're going on to the main questions here.
Oh,
yeah, we're on questions, man. We're questioning.
All right. So again, I'm not batting 100 today. So my question was, do you think there are any famous people that are into rock hounding and are secretly watching everyone's content? And if you had to guess, who do you think would be into this hobby?
I mean, I guess you'd call him famous. Bobby Duke.
Oh yeah, that's...
I see him go down to the creek to pick up rocks. I'm like, he knows there's rocks there. I'm like, I wonder if he sees that I'm a rockhound too, and it's like, hi. But I don't know. I'm like, I want to be Bobby Duke's friend. But that I don't know if he's secretly watching these videos and stuff like that, but I feel like he could be a rockhound.
I think he could too.
Hey, Bobby. Right?
Friends.
Episode 100 featuring Bobby Duke.
Bobby Duke.
Boy, wouldn't that be something?
That would be rad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're available.
What about you, Karen or Kurt?
Actually, I asked a question, but that wasn't like the question that I was supposed to ask. So I'm gonna get a rebate now.
Oh, shoot.
You know what I'm
I know.
No big deal.
So I actually asked this of Jason, and I loved the answer. You know, so I don't know if you can top a bomb on the beach, but what's that was good. What's the strangest thing that you found while you were rock hounding, and it doesn't have to be a rock?
The top of a car that ended up being the rest of the car covered by rocks. I'd say that's, so it was a whole car. And I'm like, oh no, it's happening. I'm going to find a body. This is the moment I've always been afraid of, or something like that. Didn't find one.
Oh.
Cliffhanger.
Sorry.
Right.
I didn't find a body. The car was full of rocks, but I'm like, do I report this? But it looked like it'd been there for a fair while. I mean, that's the biggest thing I found while rock hounding. I can't think of anything else strange that I've found. Other than just weird trash where you're like, how did this get here? And I really don't want to put this in my bag, but I'm going to. How do I explain it to my partner that I have this in my bag?
Whoa, I don't even want to ask on that one. Okay.
Yeah.
I would say I found something interesting when I was doing yard work. I mean, it wasn't necessarily rock hounding, but it was still something pretty interesting. I didn't know at the time, but I found a dummy grenade.
Whoa.
Oh, okay, that would have freaked you out.
And I'm using a weed whacker at this point. And I'm using a weed whacker, and I see it, and I'm like, whoa! And I pull it off. I'm like, I don't know if this is real or not. Can't tell if it's real. So I text someone like, hey, rather than call the police, I'm like, hey, is this real? And he's like, that might be a dummy grenade. I'm like, might be? I'm like, so it ended up being a dummy grenade. There's a hole in the bottom drilled out, the pin was missing, and everything else. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take this home. This is actually pretty cool. And didn't tell my wife. Went home. I'm like, hey, look what I found at work, and I tossed it to her.
Yes.
She about had a kitten.
Yeah.
And she didn't think it was very funny at the time, but it was pretty funny. But I do have a friend that he was rock hounding with his I think he was rock hounding with his son, and they actually did find a live grenade while rock hounding.
Oh, wow.
And they actually had to have the police come out and detonate it there on the spot. But weird.
Scary.
Yeah.
Too scary.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Another question I have for you. How did you come up with the name Rockhounding?
Oh, so I I was doing my first video, and I think my YouTube name was something from like a long time ago, which was just a name I made so I could comment and stuff. I think it was Jay Dizzle, which is terrible. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Time to get you a shirt.
Yeah, Jay Dizzle. And I was doing the video, and I was like, I need a better name. Like, this is, if I'm going to start doing videos, and it was the second video, and I'm like, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, I'm a rookie. Like, I'd been doing it for, I think at that time 7 years, but on and off and not knowing what I'm doing. I didn't even know what rhyolite was or chalcedony was. So I was like, well, I'll call myself Rookie Rockhounding, because it has a cool ring to it as well. And then I was like, but then after a year, I'm like, oh no, I'm not a rookie. And I'm like, oh, but everything was going well. And people were like, oh, you're going to need to change your name from Rookie Rockhounding. And I thought about it. But I think I always want to be a rookie. And I always want to have that feeling that we all had when we are rookies at something, where we're learning, but we're also super excited and super curious. And it's sort of serendipitously, that is my brain. Like, I am a rookie at everything, and I always want to be learning. So I want to be a forever rookie.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That's
Yeah,
cool way to look
totally.
at
I
it.
mean, so like with you being rookie rock hounding, you're always there's always new minerals to learn. So you're always gonna be a rookie in the hobby. So
yeah. And I think I always want to be learning new things. Like, I recently went and joined a lapidary club.
Nice.
And I am an absolute rookie at it.
Yeah.
But so it's like, if I can continue to sort of try and keep learning new things, or learn how to metal detect, or prospect for gold, or there's that. I always want to be a rookie at something in the videos.
nice.
But I'm not a rookie at chalcedony anymore.
You know, no. It seemed as though you were perhaps a rookie. Like, let me just give you props for your makers challenge. The
that was
Scotch
awesome.
rocks were amazing.
That was awesome.
But
That was well done.
perhaps a rookie at drinking the scotch. You know?
Absolutely. I knew what it was going to be, and I'm like, I'll just get Benny a drink and I'll film him doing it. And then I was like, no, I better do it. Ugh. I can't. I couldn't. But then someone else like, no, you've got to get this type or this type. I'm like, no, I like beer. I'll just stick with beer if I'm having a drink or something like that. But yeah, rookie at that. It just, yeah. I had to leave the natural reaction in there, and that was genuinely natural reaction, and it carried on a little bit longer.
I could tell it was a natural reaction.
so hysterical. But actually, as far as the I loved that challenge because you took on cubes. Yeah, the cubes are hard to do, even if you've got like the perfect equipment to be able to calibrate cubes. And you were doing it on an angle grinder and the saw. I was like in complete awe.
Yeah, I had before, because a lot of the times when I do polishing and stuff like that, cutting and polishing, I like to make flatter sides. It makes it easier first with the grinder. But it does show up where things are a bit off and stuff like that. So I'm like, I've got to figure out how to do this. So it was a nice practice for me to do that. And I hadn't done it until I started filming. That's why I was like, oh gosh, I don't know how this is going to work.
Talk about flying without a net, man. That is so awesome.
It's honestly the way I do it. And it's not because I'm like, yeah, this would be cool. It's because I'm unorganized. Not organized at all. So yeah,
It still
That
turned
was a
out
great
awesome.
yeah. Thank you.
I learned a few things just watching your video. So thank you for
Oh,
that.
dude. Oh, cool, man. That's cool. It ended up being more of just an entertaining video. I was like, okay, I don't know if I can teach anyone anything out of this, but just more of being a part of that. That was such an amazing thing Theo put together, because it pushed every creator just that bit out of their comfort zone.
Yep.
And then, and like you saw with what happened with Agatha, like he's losing his footage and stuff like that. It broke my heart for him. I was like, dude, but he nailed it. And then just everyone, like, I don't want to mention any names because I don't want to leave anyone out.
Right.
Every one of those channels did brilliantly. And I'd never seen a pizza made out of rocks before, it looked good. It looked good. But yeah, it also got other people's minds going into, what else could I make, sort of thing, and my mind. So I've got something I want to make, but it's probably going to take years to make. So
Can you divulge?
Intrigued.
Yeah, I know. Can you let a little of the cat out of the bag?
I put a little Easter egg in the in my Makers Challenge video, but
Might have to
I
go back and
don't.
watch.
It'll only be an Easter egg if you once you know what I'm making. It's something Benny and I like doing in our pastime. So
Gonna have to rewatch that and figure out
Yes.
where it's at.
Exactly.
yeah, it'll take a while. Him and I want to do it, but I don't even know when we're able to start it and stuff. Working at the doing stuff at the Lapidary Club will help a lot. So yeah.
Definitely. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It sounded really mystical. It's not. It's not. It's not.
We're all
not
like,
secretive.
can you see our wheels
Yeah.
spinning? We're like, what is it? What's
No,
Yeah.
it's a game. It's a game. It's something. I want. Yeah, I want to. I want to make a chessboard.
Oh.
Yeah, I want to make a chessboard. I want to make a complete
I
chess set.
totally like. I remember
Mm.
you guys were playing while you were
Yeah.
trying to drink. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That'd be
That's such
sick.
a great idea.
Yeah, that's and
Yeah.
it's a far off project because I mean each one of those I don't know. I want to do it different ways through tumbling. I want to try and tumble cylinders. I don't know if that'll work. Like if you know what I mean. Like if you put the say if it's like you get them like that, put them in the tumbler, have them all there, and then as it's rolling, they'll roll like that. Maybe I don't know to make the pawns and stuff like that.
I think
But-
people have used vibratory tumblers to kind of help with those kind of projects because with rotary tumblers, it actually has a chance of disfiguring whatever you're putting in there.
Okay.
I forgot which video it was. I think it was. I can't think of the name of the channel, but he put stuff in tumblers for just random stuff, and
Just
he
for fun.
yeah, and he leave it in there for a month, and he did marbles. And
Yeah.
you would think just round marbles, no big deal, but he did like a before and after comparison of the marbles, and in the rotary tumbler, they wore down. And they're just smaller versions of what they were, but they wore down, and some actually had flat spots and such like that. So I would suggest like look into using a vibratory tumbler for getting all the nooks and crannies.
That's one of the answers to a question that I know you guys ask a lot is upgrade of like what would you like to upgrade in your shop and stuff like that.
Big saw.
Big saw. I'm really, really lucky with because I'm renting my place. I don't have any shop at all. And that's why I'm always outside. I take out the canopy now and I put my saw out there and stuff like that because it would just be too messy and I'd lose my rental bond.
I just thought that you liked the great outdoors. I like to work outdoors too, but it's because I want to. Yeah. Yeah,
and because that tile saw throws off a massive rooster tail of spray when you first start it. So, but for my shop, I'd like to. One of my next machines would be a vibratory tumbler. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just look like and you see the stuff that Michigan Rocks does with his. It's just Rob is a wizard.
Yeah, he does a fantastic job.
Mm.
And I really like his cabinet that he has all the tumblers in.
Oh man, I know.
It's so satisfying to see that. I'm like, man, that hits my perfection bone like perfectly. I'm like, it's beautiful. It's like everything's all in one spot. It's hidden. It's out of the way. It's a useful shelf that you can put stuff on top of, and you wouldn't know the difference.
I'm just always reminded.
Contains a sound.
Sorry, no, yeah, go man.
No, I'm good.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm just always reminded how unorganized I am when I see his shop. I'm like, oh, and yours too, Kyle. Like, I'm like, oh man, I'm a mess. But
I mean,
it's how it works.
I've told Robin in his videos like your shop is so clean and it just makes me it makes me smile on the inside just to see that. And he's like don't get too carried away. Like he says something about how like a lot of times the mess is behind the camera, and I totally understand because if you remember the layout of my garage, like the washer and dryer is like on the other side of like my camera, and there'll be some laundry there some days, but for the most part, I try to make sure I have it at least presentable for the camera too. But if I don't have like a lot of projects going on, I typically try to keep things as clean as I possibly can. I still have not cleaned my genie since the Maker Challenge video. because the gnome of the pants was like a weird purple material that was very messy. And I left it. I'm like, I'll get to
I'll get to that. Yeah.
Purple
That's
pants
my motto.
mess in the genie.
Yes.
That's your motto. Leave the messy pants. That's great. You know,
it is. I am. So
go ahead.
yeah,
No,
no.
go ahead.
I am by working outside. I am forced to clean up, which is good because I can't leave all my gear outside. So I'm always instant clean up, wash everything down, get rid of the dust, and pack it away in the garage. So yeah, I'm lucky for that reason.
Yeah, it's nice to have something else that makes you do the thing that you're supposed to do. Like, that's kind of my thing too, is on the coast, if I leave my stuff outside, it'll like instantaneously rust, or it'll blow away, because, you know, there's going to be 30 knot winds at some point soon if they're not already there. So yeah, I have to clean up as well.
Yeah.
Monster Agates asked a super good question from our last stream in the comments, and that was, have you ever run into the law when you were rock hounding? And I'd love to pass this over to Jesse to start off with, but this is for everybody.
Yeah. So technically we haven't run into the law as in the police, but we have, and I'm laughing about it, but only now, but we have had a time where the laws in Australia I won't go too far into it, but it's Crown land is in the creeks where it's not national forest and stuff like that. And those creeks will run through farmland, but you're allowed to fossick in that creek bed up to the high water mark. So where the grass basically starts, you don't go up over there. You need a fossicking license and everything like that. So we had all that, and we went back to retrieve like this behemoth thunder egg, and Paulie, Benny, and we couldn't get the trolley to be in the creek, so we just wheeled it up on the grass and we flipped the rock up onto the grass. And the instant we did that was we just broke the law, and it didn't cross our minds, sort of thing, because you're not crossing a fence. There's still another fence just up, past the, further way up. But and then we heard this thing that we thought was a gunshot, and I'm like, oh, it's happening. Oh no, like this is it. We're going to be shot. I've heard about this. We're going to be shot for rocks. And then again, and I'm like, oh God. And I'm like, it's like echoing through the area. And I've got my back to where I'm thinking it's coming from. And the two boys' faces were like, oh no, it wasn't a gun. It was this lady and her husband. She had a whip and she was doing the crack. And I'm like,
wow.
Oh gosh, okay.
That's even scarier.
Yeah. And I'm like, no. And the last thing I want to do is give rock hounds a bad name at all, like, or show doing the wrong thing to achieve a rock. No rock's worth it. But we had already got things strapped onto the trolley, and so we're like, these guys are screaming at us like, get the off our land and all this sort of stuff. And we're like, sorry. And they let us wheel it off. They didn't want to come talk to us, but I was freaked. I hate confrontation. So I was just shaky as, and just worried they were going to chase us, and also felt horrible. I felt horrible, but I ended up making a video using the footage. I didn't want to because it was embarrassing, but also I thought it's important. If I'm going to do it, then I'm guaranteeing other people are going to do it, and that could be useful information for them, sort of thing. So that was when we broke the law, and we shouldn't have, unintentionally, absolutely, like we didn't. Yeah, bad. So yeah, that was my brush with the law. What about you guys?
One of y'all want to go first, or you want me to?
You can go.
Okay. So I have actually had two run-ins.
No.
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
The first one was me and my uncle. My uncle wanted to go explore this area he used to as a kid when it was all public land. and he took me to this creek bed, and we were going up the creek bed, and we were going to an area where he used to find some artifacts, some native artifacts, and I started hearing like 4-wheelers, and
Oh,
I was like, and just so you know, this was the first day of hunting season.
Oh gosh.
And I started hearing 4-wheelers. I was like, Brian, you hear that? He's like, yeah, follow me. And we took off running, and we're like kind of hiding down between two hills. And I'm like kind of looking. I was like, Brian, is that a guy on his knees with binoculars looking straight at us about 50 yards out? He's like, oh yeah. And so we took off running like we ended up crossing onto private property, and ended up realizing that, and we ended up hopping the fence and walking to the car. One guy was watching us, one guy was watching our car, so that way we couldn't escape, but we ended up getting citations for trespassing on private land. And then the second one was me and a buddy, Kirsch. We went out to the Atlanta River in near Kingsland, out at Long's Ranch fish camp. We went there to go fishing, but anytime I go fishing, I always look for rocks. And we did not have fishing license. And I've never run into a game warden, but we were there for probably a good 4 or 5 hours, and it started getting dark and cold. So I was like, we need to make a fire. So I walked, and like I paid to be on that land, but I accidentally stepped off of that land onto another land, and within like 30 minutes, a game warden showed up, and yeah, he was like he questioned us about fishing licenses and such, and the game warden or my friend somehow talks the way out of getting a citation, which is normal for him, but we
He's a good friend.
To have. Yeah.
yeah. I didn't find any cool rocks that time, but I did find a citation. The game warden was writing a citation up, and he looked me up, and he was like, "This has happened to you before, hasn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it was just like 20 minutes down the road, same area, but I don't have good luck at all for stuff like that. But it like after like that was probably like around midnight when that took place, and the game warden left us out there, and we were about a half a mile hike to our cars, and it was pitch black. We couldn't see a single thing outside. We were in the middle of a riverbed, middle of the Atlanta River, and the game warden left, and we had a bow, like a fishing bow, without a tip on the arrow because we lost it, and a fishing pole. And we were trying to like find our way to the bank, and we got to this big bush, and something was being killed on the other side of that bush.
Oh gosh. Jeez.
I think it was like a coyote that caught like a rabbit, and the rabbit was screaming. Oh. And yeah, it was really freaky.
No thanks.
we just kind of stood there like really still for about 15 minutes, and then we went on our way and finally made it back to the car. But yeah, those are my 2 stories.
Wow.
I don't have anything.
Exciting.
I'm a very vanilla person. To be honest, like everyone else has actually pretty exciting stories. Like I'm yeah, I got nothing.
I think it's a good topic to have no stories in.
That
is. You know what I mean? It's a credit to yourself, Carl.
Well, to be fair, like I grew up like, you know, I have a younger sibling, and I grew up with watching that sibling always getting in trouble. And I'd always avoid those issues so I didn't get in trouble. So even as I got into an adult, I have friends that would get in trouble. I didn't get in trouble. And I'm like, don't do that, and I'll be just fine. And
what we say in the childcare industry is make good choices.
Great words.
So, yeah.
Well, also on that same note, like my grandmother worked in the court system, and when we grew up, we were always told, if you get in trouble, we're not bailing you out. You are on your own. And so that was more incentive to mind our P's and Q's and stay out of trouble.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard to, like, when because you never, especially in the type of trouble that Kurt or myself got into. It's like it's not like robbing banks or anything like that, but and you're not intentionally. You're like, I love what I'm doing. Yeah. And then bang, okay, I broke the law.
It happens.
Just like that.
One good tip that I learned in Central Texas, like when I'm fishing or when I'm rock hounding banks and so forth, always after those 2 encounters, I always made sure I had a fishing license. So they were only like $20, and always carry a fishing pole with me. That way, if I'm looking at the ground and someone walks up and I'm not supposed to be there, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I was fishing and I didn't mean to be there, and they normally let me off the hook. So I would always carry like one of those little bitty mini fishing poles. I think they're called like ice fishing like poles. Those little bitty ones. I would always carry one of those with me, and that was my backup plan.
Now everyone knows your secret.
I know, good to know.
Yeah. Oh, it helps
fish.
so much. Yeah, it helps so much keep me out of complications with the law. So,
and even just having a license of sorts like that. So over here in Australia, I'm not sure how it is over in the States, but you need a fossicking license, and like you said, it's for a year. I think it's $30, and you know that for a year, whether you get out of your car and you're looking at a gravel side of a road or something like that, if an authority member comes along, you're safe. So that drops the stress, because rock hounding is meant to be relaxing, and when you don't have, or if you're crossing private land or something like that, that's stressful. So it's not conducive to the whole relaxing rock hounding thing. I know, because we have even in a creek, even though you're allowed to, so I said allowed to is because even though you're allowed to be in the creek, the only people who know that are rock hounds. Farmers don't know it. They're not aware of that. They're like, no, that's my land. And you're not going to explain to a farmer, okay, well, if you look at Rule 572, they're not going to have the time to listen to you.
They're going to be like,
and they're going to be like,
what?
Yeah. So it can be unnerving, even if you're sticking to the law, it can be unnerving. So that's why permissions are amazing. But the hardest thing is their house is a 1 minute drive from the front gate. So you have to trespass to go and ask them for permission. But we do have one place where we've got a permission, and the amount of zen relaxedness that I feel when I'm there, knowing that the owner can walk past and be like, hey guys, it's the best kind of rock hound ever. Like, regardless of what you're finding, you just feel like there's not going to be any confrontation sort of thing.
Yeah,
Nice.
we don't have any licensing here in Oregon for rock hounding. At least not yet. I wouldn't be surprised if they find a way to put a license on it. Karen, thoughts on that?
There's a license if you want to sell any of the agates off the beach, and of course there's if you want to claim something, and then you have to know that there's something mineable that you can claim there. As such, with the things that are going on over there at the Glass Buttes, like so is it claimable? But that's, it's like the legal mumbo jumbo that either you deal with and wrestle with or don't.
There's
the extent of it.
And I think there's technically like a rule in Oregon that you can't sell, and I think it goes beyond agates too. I think it's like agates, petrified wood, jasper. Like, you have to have a permit in order to sell any of it.
Right.
Yeah.
If you've picked it up off of the BLM land, but if you've taken it from private ownership, if you've mined on the private ownership lands and they have their mineral rights, you're okay.
Yeah.
So,
lots of rules.
So many rules. Yeah.
I think in Australia too, like you're not allowed to sell unless it's just a pop-up market, you know what I mean? Like a market stall. But but I don't know how that works for worked stones. So I don't know if you find a stone and you cab it, if you can then sell that, because I think that'd be okay, wouldn't it?
Art.
Well,
Art.
yeah, there is
Yeah,
a loophole, and I'm sure that internationally
Yeah.
there's some different levels of loophole, but yeah, that's one of them
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, cool.
I've been curious about that because I know some of the rules that y'all have in Oregon about finding minerals on BLM land is similar to what's here in Colorado. I was curious if you take it and create something out of it, are you able to sell it then? But I need to look further into that.
That's really, really worth looking into, and
Mhm.
that's a good message for all of our viewers as well.
Mhm.
Is
Yeah.
that regionally there's going to be a bunch of different stipulations. Please go out there and do some research so that you know that you're doing the right thing. You don't have any weight on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you can not only ruin it for yourself, but you can ruin it for other people too.
A lot of other people. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to be the next guy on the podcast with the story of the law coming after you, right?
Yeah, and you want to be able to have the general public be cool with the Rockhound knocking on their door saying, "Do you mind if I look in your creek?" They know what we're doing. We're not there to as a big mining operation or steal their gold or anything like that.
Mhm.
It's the most it's the most timid of hobbies.
Right.
I'm looking for pretty rocks.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of pretty rocks, hold on 1 second. Australia, I'm Jesse. I don't know if you know this, but I'm sure you probably do. But has rainbow lattice sunstone.
Yes.
Whoa! Oh, yes.
Yes.
Someone. I don't know if it was one of you guys or not, but someone told me to check that out, and it blew my mind. Like,
I have one
blew my
piece
mind.
in my collection.
Really?
And I've tried to reach out to a shop in Australia that happened to sell a few pieces, and I'm like, "Hey, is there any way that I can pay for this? And just let me know what the shipping is." And they're like, "Yeah, we don't sell out of the country." And I'm like, because online it's expensive stuff.
Well, get them to send it to me, and then I'll send it to you.
Wait, edit that out.
Might have to.
Yeah.
And you can do that 3 times, Jesse.
Yes. Yeah. Uh-huh.
But
That stuff is just gorgeous.
it really
Beautiful
is, and
stuff.
because you have other sunstones from different parts of the world. Oregon has the Schiller sunstones with all the different colors, and I think I kind of like the Australia one better, just because there's more.
How dare you?
She's like traitor.
I know.
Traitor.
I know. For me, it's more because Australia is a long ways away, and it's harder to get. It's really more harder to get than we live here. It's our state gemstone. I still have to send Theo some. I was gonna do that today, but I got busy. But I have
He's gone anyway.
Yeah.
It's okay. He's in Florida.
Watch comes back with like big megalodon teeth.
Yeah.
Oh,
Then he'll have something to
he
trade
probably
you
will.
back. Yeah, you know it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I have a few colored stones, but for me, the rainbow lattice ones, there's more of an in-depth pattern to them, and I don't know, it's just the shiny things. That's why I like fire obsidian. It's very iridescent and colorful, and if you look close enough at the rainbow lattice, it's very iridescent and colorful when you look close enough at it. It's
my favorite stone I've found, or one of my favorites. I've got plenty, but I found a little bit, probably like you can't even see that big of precious opal in.
Oh, nice.
I wanted
in
to ask
a
you
Ryla.
that.
Yeah, and so it's not meant to be out there. I mean, it wouldn't. It's the Ryla in this one section of the creek. There's a lot more opal content with the chalcedony, and if you can get the right bit that from some freak of nature, it has all those water molecules lined up the perfect way. You look at it and you freak out, and like anyone else would be like, "Oh, what's that worth?" 0. But finding a bit of play of color in a piece of opal that is honestly that big, I was like, I found opal. I mean, I could go for a drive 10-hour drive and go and get better proper stuff. But it's it's cool. Seeing Play of
That's
Color
a
is
bucket
amazing.
list thing. Yeah.
There was a I want to say last year I saw an article of it was like a petrified wood that had like in the cracks it was like turquoise sorry, my stuttering starting up. Turquoise opal embedded in the petrified wood. So and it was found there in Australia. I'm not sure where it was. I'll send you the link if you want. But it was so freaking beautiful. I was like, I hope there's more of that where people can buy it, because I'd love to get a piece of that.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a chance to go fossick some opal or actually go down and mine?
No. So I about a year ago had planned a trip just by myself because the girls were going on this cruise with their girlfriends, and I'd planned a week-long trip to go to Lightning Ridge and just go and have a look at these big. They got these two big dump piles where it's all the stuff that is too small for their graders and stuff like that, and they just dump it there. And you can come across beautiful things. I mean, but my dog at the time had gotten sick, and someone needed to stay home with him, and I just haven't done it since. It's like I really want to go out to Lightning Ridge and then also to the gem fields, Emerald and Sapphire. Like they have towns called Emerald and Sapphire, and I'm like, oh, I wonder why. So there's tons, there's a few places I really want to, and it's about a 10-hour drive away from me. I just have to convince the family that it'll be a fun place to camp.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Bring candy or something.
Yeah.
Just buy them off with something. Yeah. There'll be popcorn.
Keep shoveling.
Yeah. What rock would you say makes you weak in the knees, like when you come across it when you're fossicking the rivers that you go to?
I would say a good piece of blue. Just when I see blue, and there's these trees that have these blueberries like as blue as this.
Oh
wow.
And they fall in the water, and so there's some times where you're like, oh, no, it's a berry, and it's just, so if there's any blue in there, you're just not even going to find it. But like, finding a really beautiful piece of blue is one that I will never stop looking for.
Is that fairly rare where you are? Is the blue materials?
It is, a lot of it is there's no seam or anything, not much seam around here. There is one place called Devil's Rock that is like this unspoken place that only one or two people know about, and people have died out there and yada yada, but I don't know. It's there's something secretive about it for a reason. I think it might be in land where you're not meant to go, or I'm not sure, but it's one of those myths. But that's what Benny and I and Paulie spent majority of the first few videos looking for when we were out hiking, looking for this mysterious blue seam, and we never found it. But it's nice having that. That's the whole thing about rock hounding. It's treasure. You get to be a kid again. You get to go, I'm looking for treasure. It might not be anyone else's treasure, but to you it's treasure. Yep. And you're like, I don't know how the day's going to go. I'm excited I could find my best piece ever, or I might not. But it's that hunt. So even having a thing like with a name like Devil's Rock, it's like, okay, this sounds like something from the Goonies. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh yeah.
So I like that. I like that it's mysterious and that no one knows, because if you accidentally come across it, you're part of the club.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool to find.
But
So do you have any questions for us? Unless we did do we get everyone else's questions?
I think we got everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jesse, what any questions for us?
No, I came very unprepared because I wanted to, because it's a bit more raw sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not organized myself anyway, but not really. I just really want to pump you guys up and be like, this is brilliant. This is really, really cool as a guest, as well as, because when you're doing videos, you're editing. You're yourself, but you don't. There's no back and forth, stuff like that, and it's in a safe place. You're with your peers, and it's just everything about what you guys are doing is brilliant. And I really wish you all the massivest best of luck with it, and I'll support in any way I can.
Sweet. And I know there's one question is what do you do for a living, if you haven't already told?
Oh yeah.
People? Yeah.
Yeah, so
you have a very positive. You have a very positive personality,
vibe.
And
thanks, man.
Yeah, and it really does show, not just in your videos, but like even in the comments that you leave on my channel or other people's channels. Like, you're always a very positive person, and it really helps. Like, I've seen your comments, and I'm like, man, that really makes my day. Like, it's almost like having almost like having like a famous person like acknowledge you and say something positive.
You're famous, Jesse.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
and every time I saw you like leave a comment, like, man, that really does make my day that much better. I'm like, man,
that's rad, man.
Someone with the kind of outreach that you have and all the different supporters, and like, it's awesome.
That's cool. No, that really means a lot. Look, for the most part, I'm super happy to, and I think it's important to also show that, like, I suffer from anxiety, depression, all those things that I think everyone should be able to talk about. And I can be also super sensitive sometimes, like, not the good sensitive, but like, oh, what did that person mean? And get my feelings hurt and stuff like that. So whenever I do comments and stuff like that, it's very much exactly what my brain's thinking. Like, and if I feel like commenting, I'll comment. I'll just leave, like, because there's times where I feel bad for commenting on one person's video and not on another person's video, and I don't want people thinking that I'm not watching this video when I've watched this one, and all that overthinking stuff. So but in general, I don't know where I'm going with this, but in general, in general, I like to be happy, and my job fits me perfectly. Like I said, I have ADD, and I'm basically a big kid, and so working with kids in childcare it's the best job. You can be having a terrible day, and you've got the best work colleagues, the kids, basically. There is no other job where you get hugged by 20 kids or 20 people when you walk into work. You know what I mean? Wanted to be inappropriate, but at the same time, it's just it's really and I feel like it keeps my brain young as well. I sort of found my niche with my job.
Well, if anything, also, you're a positive role model for those kids too, and they'll remember. Yeah. They will remember that, when they get older.
Yeah, Oh, it's so cool. So they call me Mr. Dara, and it spun my mind out completely when I heard this honk and this car come flying past, and then I heard someone yell out, like, full man voice, "Oi, Dara!" And I look around, and it's one of the kids. I'm like, what? I'm old. I am so old. But yeah, it's a great job. It's a great job.
That's fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool. What would you guys disguise what you do?
Carrie, you want to go first?
Who did you want to have go first?
We'll go in order.
Okay. Yeah, I used to be a gallery owner, and so professional artist. And even farther back, I relate to what you're talking about, Jesse. I taught kids for a really long time. I was more a creative movement instructor, and so
Yeah.
yeah, and so like I was trained in all sorts of different kinds of dance, and so that's what I relayed to the children, and I had the same thing happen to me in the mall. Some like total adult comes running up to me and like wraps her arms around me, Miss Karen. And I was like, wow, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Very rewarding. And so
Very.
yeah, and so there's that. But I'm a professional artist. And so that's what I do for a living. And so
Nice.
yeah, and at the same time precarious, especially like right now with the COVID and everything. It's an interesting thing, but a passion and unstoppable,
Yeah.
a freight train. So it's what I do. And so how about you, Kurt?
That's cool.
Well, I currently don't I guess I'm fully on just pushing YouTube and just kind of polishing rocks and so forth, and just selling rocks when I can here and there. I don't have like a full-time job because of the pandemic. I kind of lost it because of the pandemic, but I plan on getting that job back once it kind of loosens up a little bit. And but my profession is custom picture framing, which is working with art, and like if there's anything that was passed on to you from like your family and so forth that you wanted that like in a museum quality shadow box or something, I would design it and then make it and so forth. That way it's fully protected. And if it was something that I've never done before, I'll still take the project on, and it's just a learning process. And shadow boxes is always my favorite to do. But when I came to Colorado, all the places in the area weren't hiring for custom framing. So I kind of branched out into the construction field for custom glazing, since it was kind of like back in my hometown, I used to work with the glazing shops for getting oversized pieces of the glass for large jobs and custom mirrors and so forth. So I was like, maybe I can do this. And I was learning more into the custom glazing field for a few months, and then that's when COVID hit. So I plan on picking that back up once it kind of settles down. But my overall plan, I'd love to take open up my own shop for custom framing, and then also combine it with the lapidaries, and that do like custom inlays and frames, and create like really unique pieces, like really unique frame jobs with inlays and so forth. So that's what I plan to do.
And also doing like framing art is an art in itself, because you've got to be the artist. You've got to not take away from the art, but also support the. Yeah, man, that's right.
It is.
That's
and
right.
Kurt's talented. I've seen some pictures. You're definitely fantastic. So
yeah. I should be working on a project here soon once I get my end done.
You're next.
Yeah, sorry, I had a little brain fart. My brain's like,
what do you do, Kyle?
So I'm a portfolio manager for a property management company. I've been there for over 4 years now, but I've actually been a property manager for a friend of mine since like 2012. So I've been in property management for quite some time. And then, of course, I have my hobbies after hours. And I've actually been pretty fortunate even with the pandemic. We haven't really lost any of our jobs, and it's being in property management during the pandemic. It's tough. People can't pay the rents, and it can be very stressful. But
I bet.
I'm hoping that things get better, and things get way better, because it's been stressful for the last year, so basically since the pandemic even started. But I'm also very fortunate to when before River was born, I had requested to have my schedule change, so we didn't have to pay for as much childcare because childcare is expensive.
I know.
But then Jesse's on the job. So.
No. It is so expensive. So expensive. Yeah.
But I have Sundays basically to with my family, and then Monday and Tuesdays I'm watching River. Wednesdays through Saturdays I'm working, and it leaves me a few hours after I get off work through those days to take a breather with the family, and then after that I have to focus on either video stuff or rock stuff, or even my Facebook group stuff, because I'm trying to help out my team members for both the Facebook, actually a few Facebook groups that I'm part of, and make sure that everything is running as smooth as possible. Because I think right now one of the Facebook groups that I have is probably one of the bigger ones here on the West Coast. Not the biggest one, but getting close to it. And
that's cool.
But it does require like a lot of time to be able to go in there and deal with a lot of like requests to join the group, and just make sure that people are being civil, because that's my biggest thing is be kind. There's no reason to be rude. This is supposed to be a down to earth hobby, and there should be no fighting. Simple as that.
Yeah. It's hard too when you get groups. I mean, even at the Lapidary Club, there's always going to be a little bit of hopefully not, but it's really hard to get a group together and not have bickering. And I'm ecstatic that I'm amazed at the group of this community, the viewers and the Rockhounds themselves, the creators. There's a camaraderie there that is just nuts, and support, and
we had started the Facebook group there for all us content creators, and I didn't think that it would even take off. Like, I figured we would reach out to other channels, and they would just be like, whatever, these guys don't know what they're doing. But no, I give Kurt a lot of props, because like he's reached out to a lot of like really big people that have a huge following, and they were awesome enough to join the group. So Kurt, you get like gold star for being our best marketer ever. But it's also PR too. Like Kurt has a very kind personality, a nice smile, and people see that. Oh, thanks, Kyle. That's really awesome.
No, you too.
That smile. Oh, he's blushing now.
Yeah.
But no, this is an awesome community, and it's even my wife has noticed a lot of the Rockhounding communities. Everyone's pretty positive and down to earth. I do have to remind her that there are some people out there that aren't quite as positive, and they can kind of like ruin it for some other people, but for the most part the percentage is pretty small, which I'm grateful for. But for the most part, like it's an awesome community, and an awesome niche, really.
Totally. 100%. With kind of talking about that group, for anyone that's watching that has a YouTube channel in the rock niche, and you want to become part of this group, reach out to one of us, so that way we can get you in the group on Facebook. And if you're thinking of starting a channel, still hit us up and let us know, and we'll get you into the group, so that way we can help you grow, and just help the overall community grow. So
it's a very, very useful, a lot of good information on there, but a lot of support as well.
Oh yeah.
Totally. Sure. It's so wonderful. There's so much good advice. As more of a new channel, it's so nice to feel safe and to have people that are genuine about the kind of support and advice that they're giving you, like with no ulterior motives whatsoever. Just here's what I experienced, or here's a bit of critique for you, or what have you. It's just nice.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And
guys.
we've had people on there be like, hey, can I get your honest opinion on something? And people will give feedback, and everyone is very, very receptive to feedback and be like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
And it helps. I mean, as long as I think a lot of people are respectful about the way that they present their answers, of course, that's going to really depend. But yeah, like Kurt said, reach out to us. We don't bite.
No, we're all super cool. And if I was gonna say something else, but it just kind of.
We don't bite or lick rocks. Right.
What was I gonna say? And if you have a channel, listen to the listen to the subscribers that are commenting on your post, because they will help you make your channel better as well. So always pay attention to that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesse, you had talked about earlier how about commenting on people's comments and channels.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk about that or not.
Well, I did want to let everyone know that well, there's a couple of things, because like I don't have anything to push, but it's more about milestones for myself. So how everyone will do they'll hit a certain subscriber count and they'll make a video for it. I've never done it, and I never wanted anyone to think it's because I'm conceited or anything. It's because I kind of don't want the attention. I'm like, but then at the same time, it's those subscribers, the people who watch and tune in and comment and stuff, that I want to thank. So I'll always do little hidden ones at the end of a video where it coincides with a milestone. Like I don't even know if I did one. I hit 30,000 people, like nuts. It doesn't compute in my brain. It really doesn't. It doesn't compute in my brain, and I'm just over the moon grateful for all of the people who have helped me get to where I am, and who will continue on with me. I haven't lately. Sometimes my life will get very busy because I do 2 jobs, and the YouTube and family stuff and stuff like that. And I haven't of late been able to respond to comments, and it genuinely breaks my heart, because I'm like, these people are people, human beings, and I've connected with them. They've reached out with me, and I haven't been able to get back. And to anyone who has commented and I haven't responded to, I see each and every one of them. I just don't. Sometimes I might be sitting on my lunch break needing to go into work, and I read it and I'm like, this needs more time for me to respond to. So that's one thing I just wanted to say, was that I am very sorry, but I just appreciate anyone who does watch my stuff, and you guys, I love you guys.
Oh.
Yeah, I genuinely do. I genuinely do. I just never want anyone to think that I think I could just do this by myself.
Very well said. No,
Beautiful.
People see that. I mean, like I said, you're a very kind person, and it shows.
Thanks, man. Thank you, man.
Yeah. But no, I as far as comments,
I don't know what to say.
Get out of town. But no, as far as comments go, like I understand, like after the Maker's Challenge, that gnome video was probably my most viewed video that I've had, with the most comments, and trying to keep up with all the comments, because like I try to do the same thing. I tried to either interact with every comment the best way I can, and if I don't have a way to really respond, I'll leave a like or I'll leave a heart on it to show them like I'm watching. And I think after that challenge video went out, I went like a week without responding to any comments, and I felt like I felt bad.
You feel horrible. Hey.
Yeah, it's like I'm not ignoring everyone. It's just like between like the Maker's Challenge started and after even a week or two after it ended, I've just been so swamped with a bunch of other things because like once the moment that challenge was done with, I had to immediately pick it back up on customer orders. Didn't have any time to do much of anything else. And I felt super awful about not responding to questions or comments or just liking or hearting people's responses because I want to show that 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 I do watch and I pay attention to suggestions or comments or just the love that people show and I never want to. I'm not gonna say I'll ever get as high as as your supporter count, but
you will. No, you got genuinely, honestly, it's a thing. I talk a lot with Agatad. He's like my brother, and he's helped me a lot with a lot of the different things that come along with YouTube, and the good things and the stressful things or the overthinking things, all that sort of stuff. And when he first started, I'm like, just wait, man, it'll happen. He's like, dude, I hit 1,000. I'm like, just wait, it'll happen. There's no guarantee. Then you have someone like Agate Angler who, boom, within a year, 22,000 subscribers. It's if you just keep doing what you're doing, set a pace that works for you. You don't want to burn out. I had to drop back to a video every 2 weeks instead of a video every 1 week because I was burning out. And then you might need to not do a video one week. People will still be there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's like, and the more you do it, Kyle, it'll just grow. It'll grow and grow and grow. And then you'll have some crazy video that you were like, yeah, it was all right. Go pop. And you're like, what? And then all of your other videos are going crazy. But the thing is the key to that is that there is an ebb and flow to YouTube. You will go like this. You'll have a point where it's just going like this. And you're like, dude, I've made it. This is good. Like, this is how it's going to be. Rad. Oof. And it drops. And you're like, wait, have I done something wrong? No, it's that bloody algorithm. It's just, you can't, do not base how good you are at what you do off of how many views you have, how many likes you have, how many subscribers you have. Base it off of what you see in that comment section.
Yeah.
Base it off of how you feel about your video.
Brilliant.
And yeah, that's where, so my biggest thing is the drops. The drops are very confusing because you think you're doing something wrong, and that can be detrimental to your channel because then you might change what you're doing when the reason why it went up in the first place is because you were doing something right, exactly being yourself, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
no, that's a good way to put it.
I know from experience, man. I've had some really good luck. I've had some really, really good luck, and I've been almost vomiting, like dry reaching with anxiety when I'm about to release a video because I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what I did right. Is it going to be just as good as last week's video? Is it? Oh, and then you're like, I don't care about view count, whatever. How much is it now? Oh, how much is it now? Oh, how's it going? It's real, and it can. You just don't want it to be all consuming over your time and take away from the joy of doing what it is. It'll get there for everyone who just keeps pushing. Yeah, success is being happy at what you're doing.
I haven't really paid much attention to the viewer counts. I pay more attention to the comment section because I am looking for any kind of critique that is put out there, and I think even when I first started, I've gotten a few people that had made comments, and I tried to adjust it. And I've had friends that have watched my videos, and they message me personally, like, "Hey, do this a little bit differently." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll try to remember to do that for the future." And it's just. I'm just taking my time at this point, You get better as I go. It's
a marathon.
Yeah.
It's a big game. It's a long game. and also one of the coolest things that happened with me, and oh gosh.
Benny,
are you there? All right.
dude.
Benny, stop, come on. One of the coolest things that happened with me was early on in the piece. In my old videos, for about maybe 8 months, I used the same song, the whole video, every video. And I'm like, this is good because people are going to hear it and they're going to be like, they know it's Rookie.
That was me.
No. Nope, they don't. And I had one guy go, man, I really love your videos. I can't sit through that song again. And so I was like, you know what? That's the best kind of criticism, where it starts off with a positive, but there's a but. And so that was what got me into figuring out how to change, how to do the music stuff with it. I wish I could edit without music. I just can't do it. I've created this way of editing that it's sort of become part of what my videos are like and stuff like that. And I've tried to do no music, and my executive producer, Carly, my partner, she's like, oh, it doesn't feel like a Rookie video. And I'm like, all right, then cool. But yeah. So that was a good constructive criticism. And it might hurt a little bit sometimes. You might be like, what? But I thought it was good, and it can make the biggest difference.
Yeah.
And I like the music on your videos, Jesse. Like, yeah, I think that was one of the first comments I ever dropped you, was like, I really like your video and your music, you know?
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah.
And that's the other thing too, is like every content creator is going to have their own film style. You have some people that will just talk, and a lot of times they don't even need music because they are constantly bringing out information from their own mouths, and there's no pausing. And it's Jared, for example. He's always giving us information. He doesn't need to have music in his videos because he's constantly talking. And I also give him credit. I try to watch for cuts in his videos, and I think he gets everything in one shot.
Yes. So because of my talkingness and sporadic brain, that's why there's so much editing. I've had to become good at editing because it's not. It would be the longest videos, and people would be like, "What? This dude's nuts." Like, so, but Jared doing no music and so little cuts. That's impressive. That's really impressive to me. Like, people might be like, your videos are so well edited. It's more, that's because I haven't put in the work when I first filmed it, sort of thing. So then I've got to do that in post. But to be able to have a talent where you can do like what Jared's doing, that's big.
No, I think Kurt and I have the same problem where, we have to edit quite a bit.
Oh yeah. If you look at my feed, I do upload videos that aren't for the general public, that are just of bloopers of me messing up so many times that I'll share to my friends just so they can get a good kick. Yes.
That's rad.
Yeah, even I did share one video where I just showed up how I wasn't able to talk, and
oh wow!
After I watched it over and over again, and I was laughing it was bad, but I was still laughing at myself, and I'm like, if I can laugh at myself, I can post this, and it just also kind of show people it's not as, it might be easy for some people and it's harder for other people. And Kurt and I have the same issue of we can do intros and outros, and it might take us 20 times before we get that one good one. Yeah. 2 gigabytes of video footage of over and over and over again.
And the more you do it,
it's so bad. Whenever I'm doing an intro or outro, if a plane flies above me or a bird flies by, or I just what?
Yeah. So and you can't leave that in there. You just can't. Sometimes you're like,
sometimes
oh man, yeah. There's some. It's good to leave a lot of that in there, but then I do it so much. I just say so much, and I'm like, I can't turn it off.
Yeah, I know that one too. I do a lot of ands, us, buts, ers, and
So
whatever.
I do a lot of so here we, you know what I mean? So
I do a lot.
But that's also comes with the territory of making videos. Some people are good with speech and some are not. And
it shows throughout the Rockhounding creators communities. Everyone's good at something different.
Yeah.
Or multiple things. Every channel I've seen, I've not seen a bad Rockhounding channel. Even if it looks like it's filmed on a potato, it's still sharing what you're loving and you're doing. So yeah, for new channels, just put it up.
Mm-hmm.
Put it up, because you won't learn if you don't, and be proud of it. Whether it's, I can remember the first time my friend said to me, I told him, I'm like, dude, I'm a YouTuber, joking. Like, he's like, oh, what, for your rocks? I'm like, yeah, for the rocks. Anyway, like, after my fourth video, the first video had just gotten like 24 views, and he's like, dude, you've got 24 views. And I was like, what? So I jumped on and I looked at him like, whoa. I personally make sure I remember that feeling, because and whenever one of my videos goes past 24 views, I'm like, I'm doing good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't, if you're starting out making videos, just do it. Don't, if you get one person to watch it, that's rad. If you're happy with it, that's rad.
Mm-hmm.
Great advice. Yes.
So,
well, that might be a good segue to do words of encouragement.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right.
And
go ahead.
No. Jesse, do you want to lead it off, and then we'll go Karen, Kurt, and then myself?
Yes, for sure. I would say my biggest advice for, not biggest, I have plenty of advice because I just talk too much, but I would say don't compare. There's a lot of different channels out there, and I've fallen into a trap myself of comparing this or comparing that, or they did this, and comparison just really looks down on what you've created and how good you've done yourself. So don't compare to a big channel. I don't even like saying big channel. I really don't. There's no small channels and medium channels and big channels in a perfect world. It's just channels, and it's just channels, and just don't compare. It'll eat you alive.
Yeah.
That's great. Great advice. I think that as far as I had a feeling today when I went outside and I decided to indulge in my Mam Lambo.
He's a legend.
I hope he watches this.
Yeah, he's such a legend.
I'm playing Man Lambo at home, trying to get my little crab poop out. And it was what's the proper geology term? Coprolite, right?
Yeah.
So yes, it was a coprolite. And and so I'm out there and I kept on beating myself up because, as Kyle will also reflect upon, you know that you've got orders and you know that you have things that you're supposed to be doing because you're also professional at some degree.
Master procrastinator.
Me too.
On a professional level.
But it was like a legit 75, 80 degrees on the beach today. And so that would be for you guys, what, like 24-ish Celsius?
Yeah.
And so so I was like, you know what? I'm supposed to be doing other things, but I'm gonna go and I'm gonna dig around in this fossil, and I might completely waste the entire day doing my passion, but I'm gonna do it. I'm going to put everything else aside and I'm going to do the thing that my heart wants to do. And so my suggestion to everybody is, if you want to go out there and Rockhound today, or if you want to make that video or what have you, do it. And it doesn't matter what you think you're supposed to be doing. If your heart is telling you to do it, then maybe you should listen to that. And it doesn't matter if that rock hounding experience doesn't bring you any value, quote unquote, because you didn't find anything precious or what have you. Do what your heart makes you want to do. And so that's my words of encouragement today.
Nice.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's really good. Y'all both kind of took what I was gonna say, but so I'll just go. I'll just say, if you have a channel or creating a channel, just be completely yourself. Don't try and be somebody else. Don't try and sound a certain way. Just be who you are. And if you're nervous in front of the camera, just act like. One thing that helped me a lot is like just act like you're talking to a family member on FaceTime or something, and that really helps. Just keep you yourself. Yeah, that's
cool.
That's great advice. Honestly, a lot of us don't like to get in front of the camera. I don't even know what I'm doing right now, because if you look at all of my videos, I'm not on them. I talk, right? What am I doing?
You do that
with
well, though. You do the talking very well. I was
Thank
like,
you.
whoa, this must be her real job. The talking.
I did that in a past life, yes, but I think that some of us are shy. We don't like to be in front of the camera at all. And so, we divert to something else. And I love that advice, Kurt. Someday some of us might get out in front of the camera and do something.
Do it. I recommend doing it. It was a little while before I did it. And when I did do it, I was like, it's a little connection that people have for you. And I mean, now people will see you. They know what you look like as well, opposed to your videos. So yeah, I recommend it and be proud of yourself. Like, just be proud of yourself that you're even doing it.
Totally.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, really, it helps. It helps so much to hear that, you guys. Seriously.
Yeah.
Kyle?
I feel like we are all kind of on the same page of just kind of like, just do it, basically. I mean, I was thinking do something very similar to both Karen and Kurt. But I'm telling you, we're all on the same wavelength today. So, but the thing is, like, if you know that you want to do YouTube and you think that you're gonna love doing it, just do it. And don't be afraid to reach out, get outside your comfort zone, do stuff that you normally wouldn't do, and also don't be afraid to reach out to other channels and ask for help. It's because, to be honest, if we didn't all reach out and talk to other people, none of our channels would have grown. We wouldn't have gotten the Facebook group started. We wouldn't have started this podcast. Like, it's about communication and a community just coming together and making content for everyone else to watch. And we always encourage people to start their own channel if they want to start it. Like, do it. I mean, it gives us more stuff to watch, and don't be afraid to if you think that you're putting out the same content, that's not the case. Everyone has their own content, their own film style, the way they speak, the way they present stuff. You can have 100 creators and you're going to get 100 different outcomes. Just have at it. Do it. We're all here to help the best we can.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was mine.
Beautiful.
I like it. I like it, man.
So who would like to send us off? Because as the gnome would say, if I can reach the gnome.
Where is it? There it is.
There it is.
Before I go, I really again want to just thank you guys for what you're doing for the community here. I know, is it Jason? I was watching his video. He was talking very much about how wanting to help other people. I want to apologize to a lot of channels too. I don't get as much time to watch all of them. If anyone wants me to watch their channel, leave a comment in one of my videos. Hey, I've got a video. Can you check it out? I will definitely do that. That's probably the best way for me to see videos. And I know that's a no-no in YouTube land, but it's different here. It's different.
Nice.
So, Yeah, it's different. I'm not, if you want to shout your channel out on a video of mine, jump on, do it, because
Yeah.
use the hashtag the finders. That's what it was for. There's nothing to gain from it for anyone else but yourselves and the viewers. But sorry, I'm waffling.
No, you're
I just
fine.
want to thank you guys. I just want to
That's
thank you guys
awesome.
massively. I
No.
really do.
We really appreciate you actually taking the time out of your day to actually be on this podcast. I mean, it's really an honor for us to have you on here. And
Oh man, thank you, dude.
we appreciate
It's
it.
intense that the
Thank
reach
you.
is worldwide. I just think that I'm tickled,
Yeah.
that everybody's into it. Yeah.
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 Yeah, definitely. I also wanted to say one thing to all the viewers. If there's someone that you want to see on the podcast, leave it down in the comments and let us know so we know to reach out.
Yeah.
And questions go in the comments too, questions that we can handle next week with our next guest and Jesse too. I'm sure he'll join us in the live chat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Sweet.
Most definitely.
All right, let's go ahead. Oh, wait, Kurt, did you have something else?
No, rock on.
Oh.
Have a great week.
Keep creating.
Thanks for
Yes,
having
later.
me, guys. Honestly.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Jesse.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks, man.
Rock on, everyone.
Bye.